being a genuine human being with a genuine interest in the other side, in the other party, to know who they are and what they do and what they stand for. It's not a matter of quantity, but rather of quality. It's a matter of really caring about the people that really care about you. When you're an entrepreneur, you have to really niche down the people that you want to serve. Don't try to go after everybody. Don't try to throw your net to everybody. No. The more precise and specific with your messaging are, the more you're going to attract the people that you really want to serve. And the faster you will be able to make the mistakes that you need to really thrive with your clients and with your customers. Go through that process of making mistakes as fast as possible. That expression of failing forward, I love it. Because, my number one mantra, business mantra, and actually it's been even published in books, is take imperfect action now. The successful people that I'm seeing on LinkedIn, number one, they consider the other person individually as an opportunity to develop a personal relationship. Number two, the LinkedIn profile is not a place where you actually publicize your professional career, but rather a landing page. Number three, I see people starting to understand how to capitalize on their previous experiences with the new experience, with the new venture, the new entrepreneurial journey that they started.
This is the Dragon Digital Marketing Podcast. Get ready for the digital marketing strategies and tactics that attract great customer relationships to your business. Here is your host, Monique Idimudia.
Hi, and welcome everybody to a new episode of the Dragon Digital Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Monique, and you're listening to episode number 40. And today's episode is all about LinkedIn marketing. LinkedIn is such an important social media platform, and it's really special, and you can't miss out on the opportunity of leveraging LinkedIn for marketing your small business online. And here's why. LinkedIn is not just for B2B, and LinkedIn is a social media platform where people actually expect to receive news and updates from their favorite brands and their favorite businesses because it's a more professional social network, and it's actually been designed with that in mind. So you're not interrupting people with your posts when all they're trying to see is updates from their friends and family like on other social networks. So I'm super excited to talk about this. We're going to cover the topic in depth, and this is probably the only podcast episode that you have to listen to when you want to learn about LinkedIn marketing for your small business. And my special guest who's joining me on today's episode is known as the CEO Confidant. He's an influencer, he's a LinkedIn strategist and LinkedIn expert. Obviously, he's very successful on LinkedIn and an expert on the topic. He's also a TV host, a public speaker, a CEO consultant, board member, and last but not least, a philanthropist. He's a truly amazing person. And I'm so excited to introduce you to Angel Rebo. Hi, Angel. I'm so happy to have you here. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. Thank you very much for having me, Monique, and thank you everybody who's listening to us today.
It's a pleasure to have you. I'm so excited to talk about LinkedIn marketing for small businesses today. So why is it important for small businesses to be on LinkedIn?
Well, thank you. Well, it's funny because when I was in corporate America and I left corporate America 5 years ago, I have to say very honestly that I wasn't using LinkedIn at all. But I made it for some reason. I knew that my future audience was going to be on LinkedIn because I've always been a business to business guy. And so I started my, organization, my small company. And I said, I think that, LinkedIn is going to help me. So I started to basically look around and see what people were doing. And my main goal, my number one goal at that time was, okay, so I have had all those many connections internationally with so many people. And also I had already lived in Dallas for 5 years at that time. But I said to myself, let's increase my outreach. Let's have a lot of connection. Let's connect with everybody that has been connected throughout my life. So I started the journey. The first step was literally like going out there, seeing everybody that I already knew, for some reason, I started connecting with them. So that ended up only like having, because not everybody is on LinkedIn at the same time, you know, but I went from a few hundreds to literally probably like 1,500, maybe 2,000 people. And that sounds a lot for people that are starting on LinkedIn, but I said, no. I really want to like start going to the next level. So what about the connections, which are my second level connections, which are connected to my connections? Let's just start. And that really started the journey. So I consistently started to go and, you know, reach out to my second level connections. And obviously, as I was doing it so much and I was using so much time, I said, how can I automate that? Then I started a small like benchmark. I downloaded 3, 4, 5 different tools. I chose one of them and I started using that tool. I learned a lot. I made a lot of mistakes, you know, and I did things that I didn't know that they were written on the terms and conditions of the, you know, the contract with LinkedIn. I got restricted. And obviously I was extremely frustrated because, you know, you don't know what you don't know, right? So you think that you're doing the right things and you're being cautious and everything, but it wasn't really that cautious, apparently. So, you know, I made a lot of mistakes, but obviously those were lessons. And something that actually, one of the mistakes I made besides those, you know, trying to make so many connections that got restricted was, how do I keep those relationships warm? Because a connection that means nothing unless you have a conversation with them. And not everybody's open to, you know, have those conversations, not over. So I decided I'm a very unconventional guy. Let's put it this way. I don't like to do what everybody else is doing. So, you know, I obviously, as anybody else also, after choosing a couple of tools to automate my work, what I did was, okay, so who really knows about marketing with LinkedIn? And I started to download some PDFs, some eBooks, you know, some of, you know, you opt into a particular offer and you get some basic information. I started trying things and I didn't like them. They didn't work for me. So I said, okay, so I'm going to be myself. I'm going to be Angel Ribo, the CEO Confident, talking to all these people, and I'm going to use unconventional messages. And I started, basically, I remember one batch of emails or the connecting emails to my potential connections saying, you know, what has been the most defining moment in your life, right? And I have to say that wasn't very successful, but that allowed me to see who was really open to have very in-depth conversations from a human perspective. Because we tend to think that as LinkedIn is a professional network, everything has to be professional. But that's not the case. In reality, people connect and people do business with people, with human beings. So people do businesses with people that they trust and they think that they can have a personal, the right personal, you know, connection and relationship, probably with the same principles or similar principles, similar values, right? We don't have to be in agreement with everything. So, but it was interesting because a lot of people asked directly, you know, this was the most defining moment in my life. And that means that a lot of people became suddenly vulnerable with me. So I learned one lesson, which is maybe if I am vulnerable, they will be vulnerable as well. So then I started becoming really more raw. And something that people don't actually think about is when we start a conversation over email, it doesn't have even to be LinkedIn. People think that they have to immediately start throwing all your value to them. Like, you know, let's say you and I were both podcasters and we want to have a lot of nice, you know, very successful people, and we start reaching out to them. Hey, I have a podcast and, you know, I'm only starting, but, or maybe I already have like 10,000 people following the podcast and I have 20,000 downloads or maybe only 500 downloads. It doesn't matter. In reality, nobody cares about what you are, who you are or what you do. In reality, people care about what you can do for them. You know, so that's very important. So, you know, I started the conversation with them at that point as if I was in a face-to-face networking event. So let's say you and I meet for the first time. You're in St. Petersburg, Florida, a wonderful place. And there's a boat trade show in St. Petersburg, which actually it happens a few times a year. And I go there and we meet in a parallel networking event to the show. The first thing we're going to say is probably, hi, Monique, because you will have a badge, right? Hi, Monique, how are you? I'm Angel, I come from Dallas. You know, that will be probably the first conversation, right? Very, very informal conversation. And maybe, you know, we get into a conversation and we get to know each other a little bit and we get to talk about what you do in your life, what I do in my life. And maybe we kind of like each other, so we continue the conversation. And maybe, when you support the small businesses, I can send you a few leads your way. And when, someone wants to go international and wants to expand internationally, maybe you send them my way, and that's how things are being built, from being a genuine human being with a genuine interest in the other side, in the other party, to know who they are and what they do and what they stand for. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. That's the secret to everything. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I understand that a lot of people have their recipes and have their swipe files and they have their strategies and everything. And that's great. But, I think that until the moment in which you realize that being yourself fully is that you start thriving, that's the most important epiphany that I would probably recommend every single entrepreneur out there, every single business owner, that they try to shorten this path. Don't be in doubt. I'm sure that maybe in the beginning you don't really know if that's the right service to offer, the right product to sell. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. It doesn't matter. There is an exact correlation between the amount of energy that you're going to put on everything that you do and your results. And it doesn't have to be necessarily like politically correct or marketingly correct or salesy correct. Really, it's more important that you are yourself, genuinely yourself, and then everything will happen. Honestly, everything will happen. It's all about energy. I have a friend. He's very good. He's one of the few people I know that really understand sales. His name is Jim Padilla, Padilla, and he always talks about this, about being you, genuinely you, when you are, positioning yourself, your products and your services to anybody else. That's honestly 90% of your success in your entrepreneurial journey, Monique.
Absolutely. It's all about authenticity and putting yourself out there, being a genuine human being. And that's how you get connections in real life as well as online. LinkedIn should just be an extension of, the real physical world that we're in, and now we're taking it online, but the same principles apply. If you walk up to a person and you're immediately pitching to them, or even worse, it's an automated outreach message, you can tell at the first sight that it's not real, it's not authentic, it's been generated by a bot, and that just doesn't make you look sympathetic, and people will not want to connect with you and engage in any further conversation with you if you haven't made an effort to learn more about them and build rapport and so on and so forth. So you've touched on a lot of things. You got burned with.
Sorry about that, Monique.
No, that's a valuable experience to share because it taught you to be authentic and to reach out to people manually, right? And you started with your first degree connections, and then you went to the second degree connections and so on, and just expanded your network and actually reached out to those people. The connection itself doesn't give you anything, but you have to start a conversation, and that's how you do it. That's the strategy. That's the plan of action that you have to map out to be successful on LinkedIn. So
absolutely.
Would you say that LinkedIn is only for B2B, or can people who are in B2C also leverage LinkedIn for their digital marketing?
Oh, definitely. And I'm probably a good example because, for instance, of my 20, right now I have around 27,000 connections. I have a high level of engagement. I typically have an engagement between 6 and 10%, 9 something percent on my posts, which is pretty high. And I have thousands of views of all my posts. And I would say that, one of the lessons I've learned is that you have to not only be genuine on that connection, on that relationship, but also that when you continue that conversation, that you have to be, it's not a matter of quantity, but rather of quality. It's a matter of really caring about the people that really care about you. Obviously, we all would like to, right now or tomorrow morning, we get up, we go to LinkedIn, and our last post has 20,000 views, 3,000 comments, and 5,000 reactions. But this is related to the game of influence. I'm going to repeat this, the game of influence. I think that not many people are able to master the game of influence. And there's some theory and there's some practice there. Okay, so I would like to to actually tell you that if you really want to excel on LinkedIn and other places, right now we're talking about LinkedIn, I think that it's important that you learn how the game of influence really works. And obviously, the media knows this very well, and entertainment knows this very well. But let me tell you, as an entrepreneur, that you're listening to this, to Monique's podcast today. In order to start playing the game of influence, I would like to actually even recommend you an author, because she's written a lot about influence. She's great about it. The number one rule, and the first rule, not the number one, but the first rule when you want to start playing and gaining more influence for yourself, for your content, for your brand, for your company, is that in order to gain influence, you have to give influence as a first step. You have to give influence. Don't ever consider yourself that you are small. It doesn't matter how many connections you have. It doesn't matter how many people actually engage with your posts. You have a connection. So you have an influence. So start giving influence to the people that have more influence than you, and go and interact with the people that have more influence than you. So that's two different things, right? But make sure that you do this. Look around, who in your industry, who in your niche has more influence than you today, say on LinkedIn, right? And go there and try giving them more influence. So interact with them, because this is going to help them. And if they are professional enough in that, they will follow you back and they will start giving you influence back. I've done this literally hundreds of times already in these 5 years. And I can tell you, if you do that, you're going to gain more influence. And how does that relate to your question? Is it only business to business or business to consumer? I have 27,000 connections, 76, almost 70, actually now I think it's almost 78% are C-levels. Okay, so are people who have, positions high up in organizations, and most of them are on very large organizations, okay? Very large organizations. So that's why I think that obviously I'm not only, when I'm working with my clients or with my clients' clients, and with both, we all help each other on LinkedIn. When I reach out to these people, I'm not only reaching out to their companies, but I'm also building those those one-to-one relationships with them as a human being. So to your question, absolutely. If you are offering, for instance, a product or a service who's only for a specific individual, because what you do is you have let's say a coaching practice. You want to coach someone, or you want to consult someone, or you want to, for instance, help corporate executives to get out of the corporate world and set up successfully their venture, their company. Is LinkedIn the right place? Of course. But also, if you're offering, let's say you're offering luxury hotel stays in, I don't know, in Bahamas, for instance, or villas, is LinkedIn the right place to do it? Absolutely, as far as you are talking to the right people, the right audience. And when you develop this relationship that they trust you because they have exchanged a few mails, or you have given them some value that they wanted or they needed, then you can actually offer them other things. You can offer them other products. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you are. The fact of the matter is that as far as you develop those strong relationships, you will be able to offer them both services for their companies and services for them personally.
Absolutely. That's the power of the principle of reciprocity. You give before you ask, and people will reciprocate really most of the time. And everybody's on LinkedIn, not just, entrepreneurs and people who own businesses. A lot of people who work in jobs are on LinkedIn well. So no matter whether you're in business to business or business to consumer, everybody works P2P, people to people. So you can find your audience on LinkedIn and leverage it as a tool. And it's a huge social media platform, and you'd definitely be missing out if you wouldn't leverage LinkedIn. Now, we focus time and resources, our people, our money in our digital marketing strategies. So how can we leverage that to actually see a positive return on investment and make it an investment and not an expense? We actually want to generate leads and sales from our activities on LinkedIn. So how do we go about that to make it worthwhile and to make it profitable and efficient to actually get leads and sales from LinkedIn?
Obviously, great question. And that's the That's the $1 billion question, right? So after you have developed those relationships, then you have to start doing a triage that they call, right? The triage. So you have to start really knowing what every single company or every single person really wants. I'm going to see what I'm saying want, I'm not saying needs. I'm saying want. Because why? Because you, as the expert matter on something, okay, as the, you know about something, you know a lot about something that's the service that you're offering, you know exactly what these kind of people might need. But guess what? They don't really know what they need. What they really know is what they want. And that might sound a little bit subtle, but it's not subtle. It's the reality. Is that you have to know what they really want. So you have to create that space in which you consistently talk with them, generally speaking, like automatized or one-on-one, so that you eventually get them to tell you what they want, okay, what they want. And different people in the same company might want different things. The thing is, can your service or your product fulfill that thing that they want? Yes or no? You are the expert. So you're going to give them what they need, but they're going to buy from you what they want. Okay, so again, this is a subtle difference, but it's extremely important. I have a very common mistake we make when we go out there. And again, I receive literally 40 to 50 messages every single day on LinkedIn, every single day. I have around 20 to 30 requests for new connections coming to me every single day. So, and I have to tell you, less than 1% of the messages sent to me, I really am willing and open to have a conversation, because they just throw things at you, without really caring about me. You have to be, when you're an entrepreneur, you have to really niche down the people that you want to serve. When we are entrepreneurs and when we start our journey, we are extremely fearful about many different things, about money, about the future, about the uncertainty, you name it, about family, about mortgages, about our bills, you name it. I mean, you are an entrepreneur, Monique. I'm sure that you resonate with what I'm saying. But guess what? The more precise and specific that you are with your message, the more you are going to connect to your audience. And it doesn't matter how big your audience is. It doesn't matter how, in theory, your audience, how big in theory is that going to be. In reality, you only probably need what? 2, 3, 4, 5 clients to start having your business, ramp up. So, and when you start doing that, guess what? You start making mistakes. Oh no, Angel, no. I don't want to make mistakes with my first customers. Well, guess what? You are going to make mistakes with your first customers, because that's it has to be like this. And then you will adapt, and you will apologize, and you will learn, and you will offer more and more and more value to those customers until you have had so many customers and you have made and learned so many lessons that you will do a much better job and you will make much more money. But again, don't try to go after everybody. Don't try to throw your net to everybody. No. The more precise and specific with your messaging are, the more you're going to attract the people that you really want to serve. And the faster you will be able to make the mistakes that you need to really thrive with your clients and with your customers. And that's fearful. And I understand that, because I've been there, and very often I am there. For instance, last year, 2020, that was a year of pivoting, right? Everybody was reinventing themselves. How am I going to adapt to the new market, blah, blah, blah. I was helping here. I actually was able to give even 2 webinars to the local community of entrepreneurs through an accelerator here, business accelerator. And I was telling them the same thing. Hey, if you're going to change, make sure what you're going to offer is going to be extremely specific, so you will be able to, go through that process of making mistakes as fast as possible. That expression of failing forward, I love it, because, my number one mantra, business mantra, and actually it's been even published in books, is take imperfect action now. Take imperfect action now. That's my favorite mantra. Unless you confront your fears immediately, it doesn't matter how many mistakes you make, you will never thrive. If you really want to be an entrepreneur, committed to yourself and to the rest of the people around you, your employees maybe, or maybe your family or relatives, take imperfect action now. Don't wait for anything else.
Absolutely. I totally agree. You know, in order to get where you want to be, you have to get started. The first step is the most crucial step. And, you know, everything comes from practice and experience. You cannot expect it to be perfect when you're just getting started. You just have to get the ball rolling, and then you get that snowball effect. And basically, what you do when you reach out and engage in conversations with your connections is you create a vision match, and you connect what they want with what they actually need and what you can offer them. Bring it all together, align it, and they'll see that it makes sense for them and become your customers and become happy with what you have to offer for them. So, do you see any trends right now that are going on with LinkedIn marketing?
Well, unfortunately, I have to say, well, number one, I think that I have seen a dramatic increase of people reaching out to each other. Okay. So, I mean, and that's obvious because people, when they spend more time at home, they're looking at other options of doing the same thing more efficiently, or better said, they're looking for being more effective, because we tend to do, as a very good friend of mine tells me all the time, we tend to do the same wrong thing more efficiently, which does not take us anywhere. So what I'm saying is, number one, a lot of people, many more people reaching out. But as I said before, guess what? These people are not personal. They are not personal. So I keep on seeing a lot of people making the same mistakes and doing the wrong thing more and more and more efficiently. Why more efficiently? Because the messages are longer. So instead of being one page of verbiage that you really don't care about, now it's 3, 4, 5 pages. Literally, I mean, I really don't understand how this is possible. But anyway, so the successful people that I'm seeing on LinkedIn, number one, they consider the other person individually as an opportunity to develop a personal relationship. As it sounds, okay? As it sounds maybe too raw, but this is it. Number two, the LinkedIn profile is not a place where you actually publicize your professional career, but rather a landing page. And there's many people saying that out there, and I couldn't agree more. A landing page, okay? A landing page. So that means that what you show there is actually you are showcasing your products and services. So again, think in terms, when you're designing your page, your profile, think in terms of this that I just said, okay? I mean, I do this not only for my profile, I do this for my clients, because again, you don't want to show your clients, you know, how many years you work for X, Y, or Z. You can always do that afterwards. You really want to show them what you are about. You want to show them real testimonials of people that you helped before. Now, number three, I see people, obviously there's a lot of people going out of the corporate world. I see them starting to understand how to capitalize on their previous experiences with the new experience, with the new venture, the new entrepreneurial journey that they started. And I would like to tell the already existing entrepreneurs who are already on LinkedIn, even if they're already active, to go back and rethink this, okay? So you still have an opportunity to go, because you obviously started somewhere, right? You for sure have an experience of some sort on some company, medium size, small size, large size, it doesn't matter. Go back to that experience and think about how can you change your presence on your profile so that becomes a beacon, so that everybody sees this amazing testimonial, this amazing experience that talks to the audience that you want to serve. And that's another thing that I see very, very, very clearly. So the people are starting to understand that the profile is much more. And probably the last trend that I would say that I'm seeing more and more often is that people are obviously reaching out to experts on the matter. Let's say they're not taking risks. So they want to go to someone that has already been successful with LinkedIn, that has already been able to make the mistakes so that they avoid making the mistakes. If someone gets restricted on their profile right now, very honestly, and there's thousands of them every single day, is because you want. Because I already warned you. I made the mistake. So why would you make the mistakes if I'm telling you what mistakes not to make? You know what I'm trying to say? One of the main mistakes I made, I don't know about you, Monique, when I started my journey, I didn't ask for help. And that was a big mistake, because the most precious resource that we have in our lives is exactly that, time. It's time. I wish I had invested more in other people helping me when I started my journey, because they would position my business into a place in which I would probably have saved 6 months, 12 months of time. And time is the most scarce resource. The only scarce resource actually we have is time. And I would encourage everybody of you listening to us today to please consider investing in people that have already been there, that have already taken that journey, so you are able to learn all those lessons and really don't waste so many months or even years in your life trying to do the same wrong thing more efficiently, but rather being more effective. We need to be more effective, Monique.
Yes, I absolutely agree. All of those people who are reaching out with those annoying, unpersonalized, automated messages, they're not really your competition. Everybody ignores them. Everybody's just annoyed by it. They're not taken seriously. And, you know, nobody is willing to give them a chance and do business with them because they've messed up the first impression. That's number one. Then I love your analogy to your profile not being, you know, a CV, but it's your landing page. So you can really showcase yourself there and use that as a tool. And what do you think about creating content as well, posting on LinkedIn and really leveraging all of the features that the platform has to offer?
Exactly. Well, obviously you're preaching to the choir here, and you know that, as I said before, I post every single day. About content creation, obviously I'm a big believer, and I think that, you know, I learned many lessons in there, and I would love to share them with your audience, obviously. Number one, you have to be persistent, okay? So I have to say that I wasn't persistent before, and I wasn't creating before I wasn't persistent, and I was just sharing someone else's content. You can do that, and it's not bad, and you are helping someone else. And it's okay, you know, but it was until I started, and I have been right now probably posting every single day for the last literally 10 months, probably right now, every single day, like every single day. And I'm posting, I would say, three types of, or two types of content, just to simplify, to make things easy for people. Number one, I post about my business and about my clients' businesses. Okay, actually, I myself, I use my profile, I use my influence, so I actually help my clients with my exposure. So I expose their content, their videos, their interviews with my audience. I mean, that's what influencers do, right? We use our influence to favor the business of someone else, and that's something I do. So then I have a first type of content, which is my own content and my clients' content, and that is typically 3 times a week, 3 days a week. Okay, and then. So I post typically once a day. And then the rest of the days, it's really related to something personal that happened to me, or something personal that I see happening to others very much, and I think that interests them, or something which is related to a specific date. You know, so it's Nelson Mandela Day, or it's St. Valentine's Day, and then I post something about it. And I have to say, I mean, I love writing copy, and I have actually a great copywriter in my team, and we really, I mean, we really love to do it. You know, we really love to do that. And if I had to give you a reason why I post so many days personal stuff, it's because people like to know really who you are. People like to know what you think. You know, and I'm not very controversial, because I mean, on my posts, not because I don't want to be controversial, it's because who I am. I'm not controversial. I mean, I've always been that guy. You know, I come from a Catholic family in Spain, and Spain is a very Catholic country, and I always was trying to be in the middle and try to be the moderator in fights, this kind of thing. That's who I am, right? So last year, for instance, I can tell you that I posted a lot about building bridges. Everybody was burning bridges. Everybody was here or there, and you are in Florida. So, I mean, I think as you know, Florida is also a very polarized state, right? And Texas was also very polarized last year before the election here in the US. You know what I'm talking about. So I did not post about politics, not one time, actually not one time in my life, just because I think that we human beings, we need to discuss other stuff. You know, I'm not here to discuss about politics, but I know that people were feeling that they were losing some friends to discussions, to fights, to arguments. People were feeling they were losing some. I mean, who hasn't unfortunately lost some friends or even some relatives to some, you know, insane arguments that you know inside of you that weren't the right thing to do, but it's done. And I can cope with this kind of arguments, blah, 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 whatever that is. That's why I posted so often about building bridges. And the other thing I actually posted a lot last year, just as an anecdote, was give me a break. I really posted many times about, those days that you woke up and maybe you listened the news, you made the mistake of listening to the news, and then the news, guess what? Boom! It was like a download of, oh no, I'm depressed for the rest of the day. So I know that people needed a break, and people needed to actually listen, that someone was listening to them, that really we all need a break. Maybe we cannot go anywhere now because there's restrictions traveling or whatever. Maybe we can just go to the neighborhood. We could just go to the county next to us and do something different for a day. We can just stay at that other hotel. You live in St. Petersburg, maybe you don't need to go to the beach, but you like to go to the other side of the peninsula, and it is what it is, just for a change, just to change your mind and put yourself in a different mood, in a different emotion. So I think that it's very important for your audience to know who you are as a person, and also obviously to post about your business, because you want to do business at the end of the day.
Yes, it has to be well balanced, that's for sure.
Exactly.
So what do you think about influencer marketing on LinkedIn? How is it working with influencers on LinkedIn? It's certainly very different from the, stereotype of an influencer who's doing beauty, makeup, or travel or whatever, and they're calling themselves influencers. It's different on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, it's different because obviously, the services that we offer and what we do is really tailored for that kind of audience. But you said it very well. Actually, there's actually, I'm right now in conversations with several luxury brands because they know that they can reach out to thousands and thousands of C-levels that obviously are the target market for their products, right? So yes, it's different. So I would say you have to be extremely professional with what you do. There's no, what's the name? I don't know the name in English for that word. So it's just coming in Spanish to me, but you have to be extremely consistent, coherent. That's the word, coherent with what you are putting out there, right? If you are a coherent, you're a serious business person, it's the same thing when you're using your influence for other brands. And actually you have to be even more coherent with that seriousness, with that, that principles and those values that are behind your brand, in my case, the CEO Confidant brand. And you have to be extremely respectful with all your audience. So I don't really see a lot of people using it. And for instance, I'm using it because I already told you I use my influence. So I am an influencer on LinkedIn. But something that I do, and I don't see anybody doing either, is that I go an extra mile, which is I literally generate really hundreds of leads, because when my connections reach out to me for that particular offer from that particular client that I'm helping with my influence, when they reach out to me, they engage with me. Many of them say, "Wow, that's interesting. Thank you very much for sharing this with me." This starts a conversation. This is starting a conversation. So eventually that becomes a deal for my company. So I think that my way of seeing influencer marketing on LinkedIn is not only marketing itself, but also sales. For me, it's generating leads. And if you are not generating specific leads, and I'm able to drill down really to like the name and the number of employees of that company and the position of that person, that's the beauty of LinkedIn. I think that I'm missing my word with my clients. And I'm all about offering more value than the value that they expect. So, and that's why, again, for me, I see LinkedIn more like extremely professional, but generating not only influence and presence and clicks on links, but also engaging. And that's beautiful. That's excellent. And I like to do that.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. Influencers on LinkedIn are just people who literally have influence. It's about the know, like, and trust factor. It's about having an image that you keep up consistently. You don't deviate from it. Talk about controversial things like family, beliefs, religion, race, politics, things like that. Those can get you into trouble, and it's kind of tricky to navigate through that. You want to stay consistent to the values that you have and practice what you preach. The influencers on LinkedIn are just people who know the right people and are known by the right people. So it's not just random, people who post pretty pictures that inspire others, and that's what makes them influencers. It's not like that on LinkedIn. It's a lot more professional. So you have to find those people, reach out to them. The analytics that you get are just amazing. You can drill people down by industry, by position, levels of experience, and so on and so forth to find your right audience and then reach out and connect with the right people on LinkedIn. Yeah,
exactly.
It's a game.
And it's easy to your point and to your questions, Monique, it's easy to get overwhelmed on LinkedIn. So I would suggest, obviously, you have to build your own system. You need to build a system of systems, right? A system that has different pieces so that all together you keep your sanity, number one, and you generate business for yourself and for your clients. I think that's very, very important.
Exactly. What do you think about LinkedIn events?
I think that they have to, it's obviously it's a good, let's say any excuse to engage with your audience is good. I am still on the fence about it because it's still not, I think people are not using it to the full extent. So when you are trying to actually opt in for an event, there's so many steps that you have to do manually. Everything is not yet, or people are still not learning how to do it all automatically. So eventually you end up doing a lot of stuff, a lot of clicks and searches and online things to actually find the event. That's my only criticism to event. Are they good? Of course. I mean, at the end of the day, what LinkedIn wants is that you stay with them for as long as possible. That's what they want, that you are there with them for a lot of time so they can expose you to the advertisements of their clients. I mean, I get that. But I think that there should be something else, some more value in there, so that it was really a place where people meet. And right now, I have felt when I'm signing up with events that the system is a little bit broken. That's my experience. Okay, I mean, obviously with all due respect, and this is just positive feedback about the system. The idea is great, but I think that the implementation is not there yet.
Yeah, so you don't necessarily need events. You can generate leads just through reaching out to people, messaging them, posting content, and engaging with other people's content as well. Yeah, LinkedIn doesn't really give you a good opportunity to export those leads and, automatically, reach out to them if they've attended your event. It's more like, promoting events that most of the time take place off platform anyways. So they could do some improvement on that for sure. But it's a handy tool and it's definitely worth looking into if you want to leverage LinkedIn to the fullest.
I would definitely use, exactly to your point, I would definitely use LinkedIn actually to drive traffic to an outside of LinkedIn event. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, the platform that LinkedIn offers you is like an event scheduling platform. It's not a platform where the event is going to take place so that everybody knows what it is about, right? So you will eventually have to have an external platform to conduct the webinar or the event, whatever the event it is. But again, you can still use LinkedIn to drive that traffic. And obviously, in order to measure your traffic on your profile, it's very easy. You see how many people have actually viewed your profile, and you see this when you go to your main page of your profile, you see that traffic. So as you know, unless you measure something, you don't know if you're really managing it. So I would ask you to track that down continuously, like on a weekly basis. So LinkedIn tells you for the last 90 days, how many people has viewed your profiles. So that's one thing that you should keep into account. Another one is for the posts, how many people actually views your posts. And the third one is how many times you have been on a search. And that means the job search tool inside LinkedIn. But again, it's another way in which you see if the keywords that you're using on your profile are the right ones or not. So as far as again, it's all about, because we're talking about how to drive traffic to your events, right? So keep an eye on all those statistics. And if you keep an eye on those stats and you keep on increasing them all the time, and you know how to increase them, then you will then increasingly attract people to your webinars outside of LinkedIn.
Right. So you've touched upon, or you've talked about building that system of systems. How do you go about building a system and really incorporating LinkedIn in your digital marketing strategy and create an actionable plan that you can execute step by step to make it work for you?
Great question. Obviously, I mean, I built my system after lots of tries and errors, lots of mistakes. I would say even great. I signed up for systems or subsystems that look great on paper, but then, for instance, the customer support was very bad. And I have to say, for me, customer support of any system or subsystem I use is paramount, is the most important thing, because when you most need it, you want the support. You need the support to support your business or to support the business of your businesses, right? So I ended up doing a mixture. So there's several subsystems that they use to track the messages on LinkedIn, to track the connections, and to throw campaigns, to launch campaigns to different audiences, because, I want to really send the right message to the right person. Then I also use Sales Navigator, because it's part of Sales Navigator is really the high quality search tool. If you do a search on normal LinkedIn, even if you have Prime or Premium, excuse me, I'm talking about Premium. I would encourage you to use, if you can afford it, to use Sales Navigator, because the power of the search tool of Sales Navigator is going to help you a lot to then specifically customize the entire marketing strategy to the people that you want to launch it to. Okay, so we already talked about the several tools, including Sales Navigator. Then I also use a tool that allows me to track literally all those numbers that I told you, every single number of every single post, because as you can imagine, I post every single day. A few times from time to time, I post twice a day. So this is a lot of data. I have a system that helps me track all that data live, like online, like on real time. And that's very important for me, because I can make decisions. I realize even what emojis work better. All these kind of things, how easy it is to read my copy today compared to how easy it was 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, or 4 weeks ago. So I track all these things, and I have a system that tracks it down. And then to put it all together, actually, there's something called, you probably have heard of this. There's a tool called Zapier. What Zapier does is, let's say it's a tool that allows you to actually integrate the rest of the tools. So I would say, if I can use, and with all the respect to all the people that believe in God, including me, right? Zapier is the God of technologies. Okay, Zapier is like the octopus. If you've seen that precious movie, My Octopus Teacher, which I recommend to everybody, by the way. So it's like the God, which is in the middle, that helps you integrate the rest of the tools. So I put Zapier in the middle, which is really easy to use. And it helps you manage different triggers of different events happening in different places. You can actually integrate email into that. And I have actually also, and that's the last part of my system, I have built actually spreadsheets on Google Sheets, fully integrated with the rest of the system, so that I have a dashboard. Okay, so here you are. I have a dashboard that has all my leads, all the leads generated on LinkedIn, all the leads, all the emails that I'm sending through my email system, and all those systems are integrated onto a dashboard that I have had designed on a spreadsheet. So this is my entire system, right? It sounds complicated, because I have tried to explain it to you the way that I was little by little integrating the different subsystems, but right now, works flawlessly. And what I'm doing I have someone in my team that has helped me build the systems for me and for my clients. So right now it's like duplicating the same system, so it works for other people. That's the beauty of it. Again, it was what I was saying before. I mean, it would take for you many months just to do a benchmark of the different technologies and subsystems. When you have a system that already works, how much is for you? How much is 3 months of your life worth for you? How much of not having to pay more bills? Add up the bills that you have to pay. Add up your cars, your mortgages, the utilities, the clubs, add all those up, multiply it 3 times, or maybe 6 times. How much is that for you? If you could start generating revenue in 30 days or in 60 days, that's why I always talk about the same thing as I said before, taking perfect action now, but get help. Be the solution. Don't be the problem. Don't keep on working on the problem. Work on the solution today.
Yes, I think that leveraging marketing automation and taking advantage of all of those tools to facilitate the processes for you is a smart thing to do. and everything has to be integrated nowadays. You can't, invest your time in doing repetitive things manually over and over again to create the spreadsheets and everything yourself. And you want to leverage tools for that. And Zapier is a great tool. I use it myself. I can definitely recommend it. Sales Navigator, I'll link the tool recommendations that you gave us in the description as well. What tool do you use to track your activity live, and what helps you figure out which emojis work best for your social media management?
Yes, there's a tool called Shield App. Again, I'm doing some, I'm doing some referral marketing, affiliate marketing today, but it's okay. I mean, I'm not making money with any of those, by the way, so that you know. But if you would like me to share the links to those technologies, I can do that, Monique. If you want me to do it, I will be more than happy to do it. But I use, actually, it's developed by some European high-tech team. Great support, great technology. It gives you great information. It's called Shield, like windshield, but Shield only app. Again, great technology. When I saw it, I said, "Oh my God!" I used to use a spreadsheet, and I'm kind of I used to be a control freak, but now I am micromanagement with myself freak, because I really want to know how to improve things. I want to make small improvements little by little, but I need data. So I was collecting manually every single thing. So I had a spreadsheet, post, date, blah, 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 hour of the day I had posted, blah, 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 all of those things in the spreadsheet. When I saw that system, I said, "Oh my God, you have heard my prayers. Thank you very much for exposing me." And I have to tell you, I'm all the time looking for new technologies, all the time, Monique, all the time. Even if I'm super happy about Shield App and Zapier and all those technologies I'm using, I have to tell you, I'm always looking out there, because right now there's so many disruptive technologies. There are so many, Monique, that, I mean, there can be right now out there some technology that probably can do something for you that you don't know, you can't even imagine, using machine learning, using artificial intelligence. Oh my God, that could probably save you 2 months of marketing, 3 months of marketing, or 6 months of prospecting, of cold prospecting. Oh my God, what does that mean to your business? Again, we entrepreneurs, I think that we're very conscious about all the bills we pay every month, right? So every month we pay those bills, and those are so much, and how much money I have to generate every month to break even, or obviously to make money so I can save up for a new car, for a new vacation, for a new experience, or for having this wonderful present I want to give our parents, right? I mean, who doesn't want to give a better life to their parents, Monique?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's why I love asking about tools. I'm all about, leveraging technology to make things easier and faster and automated for us, so we can spend our time doing the things that are more important for us, and we're not wasting time. We have to be the most efficient nowadays.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much. I have to say that I really love it when the rubber hits the road, because it's really there. I mean, right now, everybody listening to us, they can go out there, look for it, buy it, try it, test it, and see, oh my God, yes. Yes. And that's what we want. I mean, we really want, you are a public figure, I'm a public figure. We are here to really help people. We really want to make these shows, these conversations useful for people. We really want to do it.
Yes.
That's why we do it. I mean, we're using our time. It's, we're recording this on a Friday. I'm sure that you have more better things to do today. You could be, you know what I mean? I mean, we have choices in our lives, but we still choose to be here because we want to really share our experience. If our experience can help someone, if today there's only one person, even if there's only one person that resonates with my message today, oh my God, this conversation with you, Monique, has been enough, because we've changed someone's life forever. And that's the beauty of having these conversations publicly.
Yes. So what benefits of LinkedIn marketing do you see that no other platform offers?
Segmentation, I think it's very important. You own the data. You don't have to trust that someone is going to categorize the data for you as other platforms. In this case, you know exactly who you're talking to. And you have contact information, direct contact information with the people that connect with you. Okay? Obviously, in the bad hands, that is going to lead you to a restriction. But the good thing is that you really can touch upon the data of the people that trust you and you trust them. And that's extremely important. Okay, as I said before, and you asked me, is it only B2B or maybe it can be also B2C? Absolutely. If you do it right, again, if you do it right, it can be B2B or B2C. For instance, I had a client that he was developing a personal app, right? A personal app. And that app, he was only thinking of, no. In order to sell that app, it's for private people. It's for, it's for the mom and pop, and maybe not young people, probably mom and pop, or, middle age, blah, blah, blah. I should use probably like, it's probably going to be Instagram. And I said, well, and do you think that maybe there are a lot of mom and pops that work in large corporations? And do you think that maybe that could interest a corporation? So again, it's the flexibility, it's the granularity, that's the word. Granularity of information that LinkedIn offers to you that you can actually then use to, drill down to who you really are interested in talking. And that's beautiful. Again, read the terms and conditions because you don't want to be restricted. But this wealth of information, again, to be honest, I consider LinkedIn to be a search tool. It's nothing but a search tool, to be honest. It's a search tool, but a very powerful search tool that allows you to do a lot of things. But it's a search tool.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a very powerful search tool. Actually, if you go now to Google or to any search tool and online and you put my name, I bet you that probably the first line of Angel Ribo, R-I-B as in boy, O, is going to be my LinkedIn profile for sure. Obviously, because I have thousands and thousands of people watching my profile, every single day, but also because they want to be a search engine. They want to be so that whoever is looking for someone, the traffic is now driven back to LinkedIn. That's what they want. LinkedIn wants you to be spending a lot of time on LinkedIn. That's what they want.
Yeah, so it's self-reinforcing, and your goals and the goals of the platform are aligned, and they keep pushing you more and more because you do what the algorithm wants to see. You don't, try to drive people away from LinkedIn and, always link to other websites and try to get them to leave LinkedIn or whatever. No, you're using the features that LinkedIn offers you to engage with people and pursue your marketing goals, and you're doing it all on the platform. You're using their events feature, their messaging feature, you're sharing content directly on there, you're endorsing people, receiving recommendations, giving recommendations, and collect everything on LinkedIn and use that as your marketing tool, use your profile as your landing page, and that helps LinkedIn out. And if you help them out, they want to help you out too, so they're not going to punish you. They're going to give you an amazing organic reach and all of that, and it's just a win-win. That's right. So LinkedIn also has this feature where you can publish articles. So you can also use it as an extension of your blog and publish stuff there on LinkedIn. Do you recommend doing that as well?
That's a great question. So I have used it for my clients. I have used it for my own only one time. And the reason why I have done it so little for me and also so little for my clients is because I think that written content, even if it has pictures and it has, photos and it has charts and it has bullet points, how many people do they really have the time to read the entire article? That's number one. Number two, how many times, if you reduce the size of the device screen, right? You might have the time, you have a great screen, you might have the time that you might like even to read it because it's fancy. But if you're on your cell phone, and we know that consumption from mobile devices is going up, how many are they going really to see that article, to read that article? You know what I mean? So it's all about traffic. So as much as I could be, I have a group of content, developers, creators. So I could have articles every week, and I'm not doing it because of that, because I'm not sure that I'm going to be adding the value that my clients are going to have the time to read. That's why. So you want to repurpose that content, and you have a way to drive a lot of traffic to that article from outside LinkedIn. Maybe that would make sense because, again, LinkedIn is their place for corporate and professionals and B2B and B2C, blah. That I understand, but to be honest, internally, not sure.
Yeah, so it's better to post directly in the feed, post images and text there. You can post PDFs. It makes your content more easily consumable at a glance while people are scrolling through their feed, and they don't have to take the time even to actually read an article. That would actually be the smarter thing to do that you also recommend. That's good to know.
Absolutely. I mean, people may have different opinions, but I'd rather probably write an article at, I don't know, at Thrive Global, Ariana Huffington's online publication than doing it on LinkedIn. I mean, as much as obviously, I mean, I spend, as you probably can imagine, I spend hours every day on LinkedIn, literally hours.
Yeah, so you would know. I think it also depends on your niche. For a minority of people who are in the copywriting niche, or I don't know, poetry, whatever, when it's all about writing and they know their audience likes to read, they only want to read, and they it's really all about text, then of course you can leverage that. And it's great that LinkedIn offers that feature, because you can showcase your work and share it with the audience without having to, drive people off the platform. So we can use that. But in general, it might be more beneficial for you. I mean, you have to test it out. There's no one size fits all answer to anything in this world, but in general, it gets more traction when you post in your feed. Because if you publish that article, you write it, you publish it on LinkedIn, then when you share it, all that people see is a preview. They see like the header image, a title, and like a small description of the preview. So they still have to click and they have to leave their feed to even be able to read that article. So it might be, easier to get the message across right there in the feed when they can see it right then and there. Yeah,
exactly. And you cannot manage what you don't measure. So look at the numbers. I mean, you have your own audience. Look at the numbers. Look if you're grabbing the attention of the LinkedIn editors. That's another option. Obviously, see how much attraction you get with your articles. Yeah. I as I said before, I'm not a very conventional guy. So I like to try everything that I'm being told. You cannot do that. Okay, let's try what happens. Again, within a framework of, principles and consistency with my brand and everything.
Yes, that's important though. Test,
Oh, totally.
Yeah, really.
Don't be afraid. Again, at the end of the day, if you are, I always tell the same story. If you are afraid of trying something on LinkedIn or any other social media platform, if you are afraid, ask yourself the following question. Are the potential viewers of that post that might not like it, are they going to pay for your bills this month? Are they going to pay for your bills this month? You tell me. So why do you care about people that don't like what you're writing? I remember one day, the first video I've ever done myself online, it was on Facebook. Okay, that was 5 years ago, a few months after I left corporate America. And I was in panic. I mean, I right now I can do any interview, but I was in panic. I was so in panic that actually, as soon as I clicked like stop broadcasting live on Facebook, I started crying because the pressure, when the pressure is so high that the only thing you can do is like get all this pressure, the stress, anxiety away. I started crying. I don't mind saying it. And then I actually did something even worse, which is I sent to all my email list a link to the video. Guess what? There was a guy that responded to me. I have this email somewhere. I should frame this email. This is the most stupid video I've ever seen. Can you imagine? Like in that video, I was basically like getting naked, not physically, but this is why I decided to start my own company, and this is why I decided to start my nonprofit. So when you're explaining the reasons, and there's no reason why, you just want to like make peace with yourself, so everybody knows what you're doing. This kind of video, and this person told me in writing, this is the most stupid video I've ever seen. Don't send me any other email again. Obviously, I said, wow. But I mean, probably some people would have said, I obviously I didn't respond to the email, but some people would have said, oh my God, it was probably pathetic. I was pathetic, and oh my God, maybe I shouldn't do this anymore. Or the other way around. I mean, I realized that video was my thing. And honestly, I mean, right now video, I love video and I use video as much as I can because it's much more direct, and people prefer to spend 2-minute video, and if it has subtitles, even better than doing many, many other things as far as, content consumption is.
Yes, so, don't listen to the haters. They're just jealous. They're, trapped in the rat race themselves and unhappy with their life and their corporate job. and they just can't be happy for you that you got out and started your thing, and you have the courage to make a video and share your emotional experience and
Exactly.
your reasons there, and just want to hate a troll. Yeah, always keep that in mind. Don't let it paralyze you or make you doubt yourself. Just ignore it. It's the best thing you can do.
Yeah, exactly. And when someone said, I don't remember which of these online very famous marketeers, I went to their conference, and they said, when you see the number of haters increasing, it means that you probably are doing
something right.
Exactly. You're doing something right. So people, and some people might actually don't like to see that you're doing things differently, and they might take it personal or judgmentally. So, but that's okay. It's okay. You don't have to please everybody. You're here to help the people that want to be helped, and not everybody wants to be helped, and that's okay. That's why I said, niche down, be consistent with the same message with the same people.
Yeah. Are there any LinkedIn marketing tips or best practices that you haven't shared yet and you definitely still want to share in this episode?
Well, make sure that you use a lot of your keywords. You use a lot of keywords in your positions, your experience positions, and your about section. To be honest, the about section is not as important as people think it is, because it's always hiding. So people don't even go there and click. It's easier for people to see your experience than to see your about section. So don't pay too much attention to that. What else? Tag people on your posts. I think that works. If some people do not like to be tagged, they will tell you. I get messages every week of people saying, thank you for tagging me, because I needed to listen to that message. I needed to read your post today. So again, don't ever think that, don't prevent yourself from doing something because you think that you might upset someone. Never, ever make a decision thinking on these terms. Honestly, never. And so I do tag people. Another very easy tip I can tell you is that it's been shown that the perfect number of hashtags on your posts is 3. I would recommend you to actually choose the right tag hashtags for what you're doing. And I like to use hashtags that have huge outreach. I like to use 3 hashtags that have huge outreach, because very often I get this notification that, hey, your post got trending on innovation or on technology or on any other, or on startups or any other of the hashtags I use. And obviously, who doesn't like that? Who doesn't like to be found like your post is trending on that particular hashtag? That's very nice, right?
It
and everybody
is,
exactly. Don't be afraid of reaching another tip. Don't be afraid of reaching in theory, highly powerful people in corporate America, because they are as human beings as you are. And again, if they don't want to connect, they will not. So just have a genuine conversation from you, whoever you are. I'm XYZ, and I'm reaching out to you because of this, and that's it. Again, don't be afraid of making mistakes. There can be, I have really, really like very powerful people on my LinkedIn. I have multi-billion-dollar, CEOs, company CEOs on as my connections. And I treasure a lot those connections, and I don't bother them unless it's necessary, and obviously bother for me means sharing some value that I think that it might be useful for them after I have had a conversation, right? Absolutely. So exactly, spend a lot of time, see what other influencers do, see what, again, don't take anything for granted. Very often, people are offering me services on LinkedIn services, and I go to their profiles, and guess what? I look at their posts, I look at how many people engage with their posts, and guess what? Are they walking their talk? That's my question. It's like, that's my question. I remember when I was at some point in my life, I was literally teaching, dozens of salespeople. I was giving sales training. Today I do it, but more on a reduced size. At some point I had more than 150 people attending to my courses, and many of them were 40, 50 live. And I remember that I was always giving them a piece of advice which is related to religion. Okay, so this is the piece of advice. As you probably remember, one of the 12 apostles of Jesus Christ doubted that he resurrected. right? And that one, well, there were a few that doubted it, but there was one specific, which is the main goal of this, an anecdote I'm sharing with you. That was Saint Thomas. So for those of you that remember what the Bible says, or what the Gospels say about Saint Thomas, is that Saint Thomas didn't believe that that person was Jesus, resurrected Jesus, until he put his hand on the wound that he had under his chest. And I always use this anecdote with my salespeople, which is never believe anything that anybody tells you in any company until you see it with your eyes, until you put your hand in the wound, in the side of the body of Jesus. Don't believe it. You know, obviously with all due respect, okay, I'm using this anecdote with all due respect to everybody. But unless you double check and you triple check, don't take anything. Don't take the word of anything. I mean, don't even take my word today. Honestly, make your own decision, and and go and research and do your research and see what's the exposure of a specific person. I mean, if someone is recommending you to write good copywriting for LinkedIn, for instance, which is actually that's another lesson for another day, Monique. We can talk about what is the copywriting the copy that sells on LinkedIn, right? So, and obviously we write every day, so we've kind of learned a few lessons. So if someone is offering you copywriting for LinkedIn, test them. Go to their post and see how many people actually watches their, views their posts. Honestly, and how much content they have. How can they tell you that their content is good if they cannot tell you, they cannot show you that they have written, I don't know. We right now we probably have 200, 300 different posts of our own created, content. So don't take anything for granted, really. If you want to trust something, or if you want to try something or the services of someone, go there, look online, and make sure that what that person is saying or that company is saying is true. I would really recommend everybody to do this. Double check on everything. Make sure that things are true and people really walk their talk.
Yes, verify their claims and look for some social proof before you just blindly trust anybody on the internet. That's right.
Exactly.
So, Angel, how can people reach out to you, find you, contact you if they want to learn more? Maybe they want to work with you.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity, obviously, again, Monique. So it's very easy to find me, obviously, on LinkedIn. My name is Angel, last name Ribo, R-I-B as in boy, O. My brand is the CEO Confidant. So if you go to even if you go to Google, you will find me easily, Angel Ribo. I have a team of people working with me. So we answer all the messages on LinkedIn, those 40, 50 daily messages on LinkedIn, they all get answered, all of them. And also my emails, I would like to actually offer my direct email address. And again, I respond, either myself or my team will respond the emails. My email address is angel@angelrebo.com. angel@angelrebo.com. That's my email address. And again, I would love to engage in a conversation with you. I mean, very honestly, I talk to a lot of people. I'm really the kind of person that whenever I can help, I help every single time. Anytime I'm being asked, I mean, just to give you an example, for COVID, this local business accelerator that serves so many small business owners and entrepreneurs and startups, they asked me if I wanted to be their mentor for some of their organization. I said, of course, anytime. So I'm this kind of guy. I like to help because I believe strongly in something that you said. And actually, I believe in that law, universal law of reciprocity. I mean, it is what it is. We cannot fake it. We can't change the laws of the universe. It's the law of reciprocity. The more you do, the more you receive. So I really strongly believe in that. And you can test me anytime. You can test my claim anytime, reaching out to me directly. And again, as I said before, thank you very much, Monique, and thank you very much to the audience listening to us today.
You're welcome. It's been my pleasure to have you here. You shared so many valuable tips. It's amazing. Highly appreciate it. And I think it's a great interview. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Monique.
Thank you so much for watching and listening to this episode. This was a super valuable episode packed with actionable tips and tactics that you can start executing today. I'm sure this has helped you out a lot, and I have something for you that's going to help you out even more. I have a free gift for you, and it's a buyer persona template. A buyer persona template helps you to create detailed buyer personas, which are semi-fictional representations of your ideal customers for your business, so you can tailor your outreach on LinkedIn, you can tailor your copywriting to your ideal clients, you can tailor your messaging, all of your marketing campaigns, all of the content that you create and put out there to actually speak to the people who are in your target audience and resonate with them and stand out and cut through the noise and be unique and differentiate yourself from all of the other people that use automated outreach methods for their LinkedIn marketing, or just put generic stuff out there that not really speaks to a niche and thus is irrelevant. So if you are looking to really see results with your marketing and tailor your messages to your target market and your audience and the people that you want to reach, you need a buyer persona to make it specific, to make it personalized and custom and tailored to them, so you're actually seen and heard and you're getting the results that you deserve. So make sure you grab my buyer persona template. It's a free download, free of charge. You don't have to pay anything. Just go to the website. That's dragon-digital-marketing.com. The link is also in the episode description. Make sure you check it out. And there you can also find the show notes to this episode, where I always put all of the links for the resources, tool recommendations that Angel gave us during this episode, and also the links to his and my LinkedIn profile. Make sure to follow the both of us, because we share valuable content there every day, and that's going to help you out even more. So as you can see, we got you covered. I hope that you really liked this episode, and thanks again for watching and listening. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate your engagement in the community. And as always, if you need help with your digital marketing, reach out to our agency, Dragon Digital Marketing. We're happy to help you out. With that being said, I really hope to see you again in my next episode. Until next time.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Dragon Digital Marketing Podcast. You can visit us at dragon-digital-marketing.com for more resources and for more episodes. Let us know how you like the show and write us a review. We are grateful when you like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate you.